The last time yourself, myself and Anna Edwards caught up, you were in the holding pattern. You said we need strategic clarity and you need to match your competitors. Where are the biggest strategic changes you will implement, sir? Will it be in the industrial side of the business? Good morning. Congratulations.
Good morning, thank you. We will now create the two companies which will be clearly focused on their markets, and we think with the materials and the industrials now clearly focusing on their individual markets, which are clearly different to each other, we can create a lot more value for our shareholders and give a clear orientation and focus for our employees and for the businesses inside the company. So we think it's a clear and strong path forward for Thyssenkrupp now to create and work for the future. And this strategic dilemma and the question that was there for now a quarter is now gone and released, and now we can move on and create the future.
Mr. Kerkhoff, it's Naira in London. Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. As part of the strategy going forward, will we see any job losses?
We have already announced a lot of programs where we want to improve our profitability and the performance of our businesses going forward. Beyond that, there will be nothing. The current split that we're doing is rather looking into what we do on corporate. And as we have clearly announced, we want to reduce corporate over the years going forward quite significantly to significant values below the current ones of around 400 to 500 million, which will go down. But beyond that, for the split, we will have no additional job losses.
Guido, can I ask you, obviously there's a great deal made by the activist shareholders, Cevian and Elliot Management, perhaps critical of the strategy thus far. Have you spoken to Elliot? Have you spoken to Cevian? Have you had conversations thus far about the strategy and your strategy, the Kerkhoff strategy?
Now, what we could clearly see yesterday on our supervisory board meeting is that we got unanimous support on this one, on the strategy and the nominations that have been done. So, therefore, as our foundation, as the employees and Cevian are represented there, you can see there is a strong support for this strategy, and I'm really looking forward to now delivering it. And unanimity is definitely what is needed to make this happen, but we clearly could find with my strategy here this unanimity and the support of the strategy. So I'm really looking forward now.
The other people we need to discuss, Mr. Kerkhoff, is your biggest shareholder, the Krupp Foundation. They've said of your decision to split the business that it's convincing industrial logic. Some reports over the weekend that the Krupp Foundation aims to remain the anchor shareholder in both companies. Can you confirm that this is true?
Well, what is clear with the split of the shares, and that's the way how we want to create the two companies, we will provide to our current shareholder base two shares. That means, in the first step, all shareholders will have two shares. They will become shareholders of materials businesses and industrials businesses, and then they can focus where they want to stay in. So far, as you clearly said, the Krupp Foundation will therefore have two shares and be part of both companies, as Cevian will be in the beginning as well.
Guido, can you envisage spinning off the elevators? When we spoke before, we really were, as I say, in that holding pattern. Can you envisage in this 5-year tenure a spin-off?
Look, I think what we now have to concentrate on is really making this split happen. As we have clearly outlined, this will take us another 12 to 18 months. This is what we want to focus on. And taking a look at our industrial businesses, overall, you see they are participating on the same megatrends. So, therefore, I think let's now focus on make this happen and make it successful and get the profitability and performance targets really realized within the two more aligned groups.
You were saying earlier, Mr. Kerkhoff, that you had unanimous support from this. We were talking about activist shareholders Elliot and Cevian. Are they pushing for anything else within the two separate businesses? What more are they pushing for?
Again, we've got unanimous support, and Cevian is represented on the supervisory board and clearly supported the strategy. Even Lars Furberg was out there in the media when we had the leakage on Thursday already, clearly stating that he's supporting the way forward for Thyssenkrupp. So that's where I see clearly strong support from these shareholders.
Guido, this morning we have this breaking news that the United States of America, Mexico and China have a new deal of Nafta. Good news for markets. What does it mean to you when you look at this kind of news flow in regards to the global trade backdrop? Update us on your sentiment on the news, first of all.
Yeah, most of our industrial production in the Nafta region is done within the Nafta region. So the value creation, if you take a look, for example, at our elevator business, a large part of that is service business. You have to render that locally. So therefore, the biggest part of our business is already within the Nafta region for the Nafta region. That's why, compared to other companies, I think the effects coming out of these discussions for us are of less importance. But overall, it's a good signal that the deal has been found and can only be supportive on future value creation and certainty within the business development going for the next years.
Final question, Mr. Kerkhoff. Could we see any more M&A, any more consolidation for the materials unit?
That is what we have clearly said, that within the materials unit, we are in very strong and market-leading positions. In steel, we will have, with the joint venture, the clear number 2. In steel trading, we're the clear number 1 in Europe. So that's why this entity is really set up to participate in future consolidations and take an active part in it.
Guido, just before we let you go, obviously the other sign of the global story is China. We had some data over the weekend, slight softening in the numbers. What can you tell us about the past 3 months in terms of the business, in terms of sentiment, in terms of orders?
We have seen a slight decline in orders in China over the last 3 months, but so far the results and the effects we have seen are quite a lot less than what we have seen in the public arena and the rumors about future losses in China and further reductions. So far the effects that we've seen in our business are a bit less than the rumors.